Donald Trump launched a furious attack on Zoran Mamdani after the Democratic Socialist won New York City's mayoral primary. As former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo conceded New York City's Democratic mayoral primary elections, Mamdani won 43.5% of the vote with 90% of ballots counted. Trump called Mamdani 100% communist lunatic and mocked him. I'm quoting him here. Trump also criticized other leaders who support Mamdani, including Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. In another post, he mocked the Democratic Party's performance and claimed that, I quote, if Zoran Mamdani becomes future communist mayor of New York City, then the country is really screwed. I'm going straight across to Rohit Sharma, getting in more details from Washington, D.C. More on that. Trump jittery after Democratic mayoral candidate Mamdani's win and New York City's primary ballot. How do we really expect Trump's attacks on Mamdani to affect the mayoral polls in New York City? Can it really backfire, Rohit?
Well, look, I don't think President Trump would have been even a fan of the other candidate who was on the ballot, which is Andrew Cuomo. And him and Andrew Cuomo, traded a lot of bobs during COVID in 2020 when Andrew Cuomo was the governor of New York. So I think, taking these or making these attacks on Mamdani there's a reason for it. And I don't think he wants to see another progressive mayor of New York City. And now the reason I say that is because the current mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, was a Democrat. He recently became an independent, and he's going to be in the election, fighting this election against Mamdani. Eric Adams, a Democrat through and through, had a fallout with President Biden last year. He criticized President Biden's immigration policies. He said, the housing of undocumented immigrants and inflow of undocumented immigrants caused a lot of stress on New York City and its residents. And he was indicted, in some corrupt cases. Suddenly, Donald Trump wins the presidency. The cases against Eric Adams get dropped. He becomes independent, and his platform has moved more towards center, if not completely towards center right. So I think President Donald Trump, knowing the history of New York and that the fact that anybody who wins the primary from the Democratic Party goes on to win the general election, is possibly looking at Mamdani becoming the next mayor of New York City. And he's criticizing the platform on which Mamdani has run, which is left progressive, somebody who's talked about how New York City should have grocery shops, they should have price control, the left progressive policies that President Donald Trump completely, loathes. So it is going to be an interesting mayoral race. It could backfire, or in the sense that this guy overwhelmingly won the primary, and New York is known to be a very, very, very blue state, and New York City is a very blue city. So it could. We do not know. We live in a very, especially in America, we're living in unrealistic times when it comes to making political predictions. But for sure, I think this is the beginning of attacks, and Eric Adams would like to see some of these attacks against Mamdani from President Trump and his surrogates, so that it gives Eric Adams at least a chance in the general election in November.